I'm Kitty. Sitting here by the window, watching the city lights flicker, I'm reminded of the night everything changed. It was at a family dinner, a seemingly ordinary event that turned into a battlefield of truths. The room was filled with the soft glow of candles, the smell of rosemary chicken, and the clinking of silverware. My mother, a social butterfly named Grace, lifted her glass with a smile that could charm a room. "Your sister, Lily, has always been the provider," she announced, her voice echoing through the chandelier-lit room. Forks paused in mid-air, and my father, Henry, a stoic man who valued appearances, clapped heartily. The room buzzed with practiced admiration, but my phone buzzed with another overdue payment, Lily's payment. I sat there, calm on the surface but seething inside. For years, I'd been the one keeping the family together, the one who fixed everything. Lily, my older sister by 4 years, had always been the star. In high school, she was the prom queen, and in college, she networked her way through a degree she barely earned. She had that magnetic charm that made people believe in her, and I was always the one left to pick up the pieces. My parents, Grace and Henry, were obsessed with maintaining a perfect image. Grace was all about what people thought at the country club, who got invited to the best parties, and what pictures made it into the family album. Henry, on the other hand, believed in keeping the peace at any cost, often quoting some old family saying when things got tense. 6 months ago, Lily called me in a panic from a parking lot. Her funds were frozen, her bank made a mistake, and her card was blocked. "Just for a month, Kitty. You're the only one I trust," she pleaded. Like a fool, I believed her. I co-signed for her loans and covered her payments. While I was cutting back on groceries and skipping dinners out, her social media was filled with pictures of luxury vacations and fancy dinners. At work, my phone would buzz during meetings with late fee alerts and interest charges. I'd send her polite reminders at first, then desperate pleas. She'd reply with sweet messages and emojis, but the bills kept piling up. I told myself it was just a phase, that she'd get her act together. Then came the family dinner invitation. Grace made it sound like a grand event, a special announcement. I showed up out of habit, not expecting anything good. As soon as my father raised his glass and declared Lily the provider, something inside me snapped. I'd been the silent helper for too long, and I was done. I leaned back, the candlelight catching the rim of my glass, and said, "Perfect. Then she can handle the $9,200 I've been covering for her." The silence that followed was deafening. It was as if the truth had finally found its voice. Grace reached over and patted my hand. "You look tense, honey. Be happy for your sister. She's worked so hard," she said. Worked? I thought of the countless nights I'd spent stressing over her bills, the sacrifices I'd made. Lily leaned in, her perfume overpowering. "You've been quiet all night, Kitty. You okay?" "Maybe you're just overwhelmed," she said, using her favorite dismissal. I watched the candlelight tremble between us. "I'm fine," I said, my voice steady but my fingers tightening around the glass. My father cleared his throat, trying to restore order. "Your sister's been a rock for this family. We're lucky to have someone so dependable," he said, the irony making me want to laugh. My phone buzzed under the napkin, another reminder. The sound was like a countdown. I exhaled slowly, leaned back, and felt a calm wash over me. I'd finally reached my limit. I set my glass down carefully and said, "Then she can handle the $9,200 I've been paying off for her." The room went silent. Forks froze, and even the old radiator seemed to hold its breath. Grace blinked first. "Kitty," she whispered, as if volume could erase the truth. "Sweetheart, that's not dinner conversation." Lily gave a nervous laugh. "What are you talking about?" I reached into my bag and pulled out a thick envelope. "These are the statements. Payments, receipts. Every charge you made that I covered so your credit wouldn't tank," I said. My father's face stiffened. "You should have come to us privately," he said. "I did. Twice. You said not to embarrass the family, I replied. Lily stared at the envelope like it was a bomb. You're exaggerating. I told you I'd fix it, she said, her voice trembling. I looked at her, not angry, just done. Then start. No one moved. The room smelled of rosemary and tension. Grace stood up, fussing with the tablecloth. We'll talk about this later, she said brightly. No, I said, standing up. You wanted a provider. You've got one. And with that, I turned and walked out, my reflection stretching across the polished floorboards. For days later, my parents summoned me back. The same table, the same candles, but a different atmosphere. My father sat at the head, a folder in front of him. He slid a check towards me. We can settle this, he said. Settle is a polite word for hush, I replied. Grace sighed. Kitty, please. You embarrassed your sister. Let's be respectful. Lily finally looked up. You didn't have to make a scene. You could have just called, she said. I did. Twice, I answered. My father exhaled hard. We resolved the financial part. What's left is your attitude. I reached into my bag and placed a thin stack on the table. What's left is the truth. Statements, payments, receipts. Lily's smile faltered. From the corner, a voice spoke up. Is it true, Max? Lily's boyfriend, Max, had been sitting quietly until now. His face was pale, tired. Lily froze. It's complicated, she said. Max nodded once and walked out the door, closing it like a verdict. My father pushed the check closer. Take it, he said. I folded it and slipped it back. That's not forgiveness. That's a receipt, I said. He misunderstood, relieved. Good, then. No, not good, I said. Grace's voice trembled. You're making this worse. Worse than what? Paying for your show while you clap for the star, I replied. I gathered the copies and left. For weeks, there was silence. Then one night, a message blinked in my inbox. Subject, Hi. I think your sister scammed me. Her name was Ava, and she'd worked for Lily's so-called women in tech startup that never existed. She sent me all the evidence, messages, invoices, screenshots. 2 days later, Max showed up again, holding a small drive. She left this. You'll want to see it, he said. Inside was a spreadsheet titled Bridge Loans, a list of people, amounts, and notes. Beside my name was $9,200, cleared, backstop. That night, I created a folder, sorted every record, and built a timeline. I wasn't planning revenge, I was documenting history. A week later, a local startup forum posted an anonymous article, The Founder Who Faked Empowerment. Every detail screamed Lily. Replies flooded in, people sharing their stories of being scammed. Grace called, her voice shaking. Tell me this isn't you. It's not, but it's true. And I can't stop it, I said. By morning, Lily's potential employer released a statement, withdrawing the offer and starting an investigation. My father showed up at my apartment that evening, shoulders slumped. He held out an envelope with $15,000. To cover the rest, he said. Money isn't what I need. Accountability is, I replied. He looked at the floor. I thought I was keeping the peace, he said. No, you were keeping the performance, I said softly. He nodded, almost relieved to hear it spoken aloud. On Monday at 9 a.m. I pressed publish on an article titled The Golden Daughter, Family Silence, A Sister's Lies, and the Cost We Paid. It was a factual account of everything that had happened. Within an hour, it spread like wildfire. By noon, it had 70,000 shares. Some people called me brave, others called me cruel. I didn't read most of the comments. I just let the truth breathe. That evening, my parents' email arrived. We're deeply hurt by your decision to make private matters public. For now, it's best we end all contact. I sat by the window, looking at the city lights. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of peace. The story was out there, and the performance was over. The next morning, the world felt normal on the surface, but everything had changed. I didn't wake up checking due dates or family group chats. The air in my apartment felt lighter. By noon, the headlines had changed from gossip to impact. Women who'd worked with Lily came forward, confirming every detail. Her name trended beside words like fraud and exploitation. My inbox filled with messages of gratitude. "Thank you for saying what we couldn't," one person wrote. Grace called again, her voice cracked. "She's broken, Kitty. She can't leave the house. She's facing consequences." "That's not the same as being broken," I said. "She's still your sister," she said. "I know. And that's what makes it hurt," I whispered. There was silence, then the sound of her quiet crying. I didn't hang up. I just let the weight, the grief, and the cost of truth exist between us. That evening, I drove past their house. The porch light was off, and there was no dinner chatter. I didn't stop. I just looked at the windows that used to frame our perfect family picture and saw peace in the absence. When I got home, I opened my laptop. The folder I'd once labeled evidence now sat renamed closure. I backed it up to the cloud, encrypted and untouchable. Not to hurt anyone, not to gloat, just to remember. Sometimes justice isn't loud. It's a clean breath after years of swallowing smoke. I didn't destroy my family, I just stopped being their silence. They called it betrayal, I called it release. Now, when people ask about my family, I don't flinch. I tell them the truth. Some stories end when you stop editing them to please everyone else. I still don't know if my parents will ever call again or if Lily will ever say she's sorry. Maybe that's not the point, because peace isn't the applause after the chaos, it's the quiet that stays when the noise is gone. If you've ever drawn a hard line with your family, tell me, what did it cost you?